a Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi, to connect with other women who may need someone to talk to around everyday's life issues and challenges, from managing career and household to inner productivity, relationships, and other hot topics. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi.
Hello and welcome everybody to my podcast, Samut-Sari Conversations with Mimi. I am your host, Mimi Laurilia, and you are in a podcast featuring hot topics and other topics of interest for both men and women alike. Sometimes we feature guests who share their passion and their commitment to their profession and talents. And here at Samut-Sari, we share stories to inspire you, stories from ordinary people who make extraordinary things. And in today's episode, we have another special guest. It's very rare that I have male guests. So you're one of the very first few male guests on the program, Mr. Mar Esparas. Hi, Mar. Welcome and say hello to our listeners and viewers.
Hi, hello to everybody. Kamusta? And here, I am here in New Zealand, and welcome. And thank you, Mimi, in inviting me to talk about something about interest in
Yes.
this episode.
Not just something, Mar, many things. Many some things. So
Yeah.
I would like to briefly introduce you, Mar, because I really know you. So you're not a stranger to me. I know that in the Philippines, you used to be in the banking industry. So finance and banking is your background. And then you also have links or ties with my better half because you belong in a very, what do you call that? Manly, muscular, military kind of background. You belong to a big fraternity of, army military organization back in the Philippines. And then we were together in New Zealand for so many years doing a lot of community work in Wellington. And I know that you have continued that. And I want to ask you a question about that later on. It's your Order of Knights of Rizal Charitable Trust. Am I correct?
Yes.
But before that, you used to also be the president of Kasagip Charitable Trust. So you are in that space. And I really want to talk about that. So at the moment, Mar is starting his journey with his apostolic mission. So Mar has very young grandchildren, and they all love to be with the Lolo and Lola. So Mar, that's another thing that I want us to talk about, which is the stage of your life where you no longer look after kids, but you look after your grandkids. And it's going to be an interesting conversation. So I think I really want to interview you today because I know that you have a lot of wealth of knowledge and advice that you can give to Filipinos who are also thinking about going to New Zealand. So that's the agenda of our episode for today. So let's backtrack lang, Mar, a little bit. Can you tell me very, very briefly your journey from Philippines to New Zealand? Why did you and Rhoda decide to move to another country when you are kind of or maybe fully settled in your banking and finance career? So tell me what went on at that time which made you fly and move to a non-banking country or non-banking sector. So give a little bit of a context about your history, Mar.
Way back 2007, my wife and I have a candid conversation about settling to another country. First, we have applied at Canada because in Canada, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-laws are there. And I think it's better to have also my family to join with them. But due to the processing time, our New Zealand application is the first been approved, and all the things, all the protocols, the requirements had been taken into, and actually my wife is the was the principal of the application in immigration. So she went here in New Zealand, I think late November 2007. And with that journey, she was been accommodated by one of our friend, also an office mate in a banking, her banking career in the Philippines in Westman Bank. And with that, Westmont Bank. After her career with PNB, the former president of the Philippine National Bank, Mr. Mr. Espiritu, get them the team to Westmont, and then that's it. That is the journey of my wife with her friend. Her friend is the first who came here in New Zealand, and with that connection, she already have what they call a good opportunity to land here in a very good country in New Zealand. With that, she spent 1 month of her stay of familiarizing her all the culture, the work ethics, etc. And after 2 months, she got a permanent appointment with one of the government entity, which lead us to approve our WTR status, the work
right.
to residence status visa. And with that, after a month, we are able to finish all the requirements in the Philippines, and joined my wife here in New Zealand by renting. First, we rent a decent house, and then we bought one car for our how to mobilize within the city. And it's a lot of adjustments on the people, adjustment on the community, and with my wife adjusting to the new job. I'm also starting to find a good job that is fitted on my qualification. But if a bank manager goes to another country and you have to downgrade your what you call that, your biodata, so that they will not be intimidated in while interviewing you. So with that, my first journey, my employment is with the first New Zealand, that is one arm of the First New Zealand Capital, that is stock brokering, etc. And my first work is reconciliation analyst. So with that, it's also fitted for my qualification and knowledge and experience, because with reconciliation, it is just an accounting background, and just balancing all the transactions within the day. So with my 8 years stint in First New Zealand, I decided to stay here in Lower Hutt, because the traffic situation, it takes me 45 to 1 hour traveling with the sometimes. And with that, I asked my wife that I will be changing my career. And in New Zealand, if you are really you are determined, and you are equipped by some of the experience you have got in your mother country, you will not be alienated to satisfy all the employers, the future employers here in a certain community.
Yeah.
So with that, again, I applied to supermarket industry, and that is the countdown supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with the first, I was then a checkout operator, and then when they saw my leadership and my enthusiasm to lead people, they made me a supervisor on checkout. And then eventually, when they knew that I am a bank manager, then they are surprised. Why? And then I was then put in the cash balancing, cash operation,
Mm-hmm.
analysis, and balancing of all these transactions and sales. So with that, uh, I decided to again last December 2019, I decided to to uh, to to go to retirement. And that retirement, I asked again my wife that if I go to a retirement, there are a lot of things that have been done. The plans, like for example, I have two house maintaining every day. uh, yeah, all
Mar,
ing,
your journey,
yes,
Mar.
yes, yes.
Pause
And it's
muna tayo, pause. Because I have
yeah,
a lot of
okay,
questions to ask. So, one of
okay.
the things that I realized from your story, Mar, is your evolution, your your continuous change, and your ability to adapt. Because you didn't mind that you were in the banking sector before, you worked as a manager, you have a high position. You moved to New Zealand, you still went somehow into banking, although you kind of demoted yourself to balancing. And then later on, you decided you want to change careers, you want to go to the supermarket industry, but because you have so many skills, they want to upgrade you within that supermarket. And then you suddenly decided maybe enough is enough, you want to retire. So what is why, Mar? I mean,
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
how come you are able to adapt when some Filipinos have this dream or have this mentality that when they move abroad, they will be even better than who they were before, or they have this expectation that they can be in the same job. But a lot of Filipinos, including yourself, are a testimony. You're a testament that it doesn't have to be that way. How can you help me explain this to Filipinos that it doesn't mean that if you are not in the same job, you are a less kind of a person. Actually, it's not. I mean, you are in a new country, you have to learn. So I want you to kind of explain that a little bit more.
Okay, as I've said, I am a former bank manager and an area manager in our region in Laguna. And when you came to a certain country like this, they are, the employer, your future employer will be checking your credentials. And sometimes, like for example, here in New Zealand, when I apply for a certain position, it is the position you are applying for. You have to pitch your biodata for the position. And if your
Right.
position, if you are applying for only a supervisory position, like for example reconciliation supervisor, if you are a manager, then they will be the interviewer will be intimidated because they
Mm,
are only manager. And
mm,
then probably they are thinking that someday this will replace me, like that. So with me, the first thing, you have somebody or future applicant should be flexible. The flexibility on the position title should be comes first, because the objective is you have first to land to that position.
That's right.
If you don't took pass that interview, so that's it. That is another era or another time to look for another what to call that, another position or another application. So it's better to do good thing or the best to the position, and then after that, if you are like, for example, me in FNZ, I was then a reconciliation clerk. I was a clerk during the time when they saw my potential. One time to another time, you will be promoted, and that promotion will count.
Yes.
So, and that's it. And that's it. It is
So I
not
think,
an abrupt.
That's right. It's not easy.
It's
It's not
not an
straight away.
abrupt.
Yes.
You go to step ladder, because in New Zealand, even you are an high school graduate here, you can land if your attitude is the best in the position. It is the attitude. It is your responsibility, your dedication, and your how to champion the work. Even though that is just a simple reconciliation and balancing, you have to exert effort also, and to ask management or to ask your supervisor or manager what are the other things to do. And especially me, I always volunteer when the health and safety is vacated by somebody because he is promoted, and then right away I told the manager, I think I am best person to that health and safety. And after that, I was then promoted to chief warden and fire warden, and that's it. I'm managing managing not only 2 floors of FNZ, but the whole providers in that building. So that is 6 floors in Wellington.
I think, Mark, the reason why you've succeeded in your different pursuits, professional pursuits in New Zealand, is because you're the type of person who always is eager to learn, is eager to do something new. You don't let that position get into your head. What you're thinking is what you can contribute, and then it will follow. If they see your potential, like you said, then there are a lot of opportunities. So I guess the lesson here is that Filipinos don't need to get stuck. So if you want to go to New Zealand, don't get stuck in the idea that you will be there straight away. Like what Mar said, it takes time. You do it step by step, one step at a time, and then you will reach your dream. So I'm loving what you're saying, Mar. You make me miss you all the more, because that is really your style. That is your personality, and that is a formula that keeps on working, that not a lot of people realize that they have to change their previous pag-uugali or discarded to really succeed.
Somebody should be flexibility, adaptability.
Yeah, that's it. Those are great qualities. Now, Mar, let's move on to another subtopic. So you also are heavily involved in your charitable trust. Can you briefly tell us what that trust is? Why did you and some of your compadres decide to form that? And what is how does it help the Filipino community in Wellington or in New Zealand in general?
Yeah. Okay. 8 years ago, I was then first. One of my quality in helping people, the community, is volunteerism. So
Yeah.
even though we don't have any remuneration and we are not compensated with the your work or job or responsibility, we are together with our Kasagip Charitable Trust,
Yeah.
and almost
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise@guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
I'm almost 3 years serving as chairman of that charitable trust,
Mm.
Kasagip. That helps our community, especially those who are new in the area or in the community. Regardless of ethnicity, we are
That's right.
helping them,
Yeah.
and we help different races here coming or especially migrants. That's why kasagip. So meaning to say brotherhood
Yeah.
in the sense. And then after 3 years of chairmanship, I told our executive director officer that I will be passing the baton to some of other abled leaders, not
Yeah.
only me. But with that, we are very fortunate that 2 years ago, one of our brad of Jervis and me, the new ambassador, His Excellency uh, Gary Domingo, our class 90, came here and told me, "Oh, Brad, please help me for my first week in orienting myself in the New Zealand tradition, etc." So without too much ado, I helped my brother in arms, and that's it. So after several months, the ambassador told me, "Oh, Brad, we have one organization in the Philippines, and even me in Saudi Arabia. I formed an organization in Saudi Arabia when I was there as the consul, the Order of the Knight of Rizal." And the objective of this is to help also community, our less fortunate and marginalized community sectors, and that's it. And I told him again, "Oh, no problem, sir." And okay, Mar, can you kindly organize, or like for example a platoon of leaders like that? And with my experience with our community, dealing with some community leaders in Wellington, I easily organized 12 people with our newly organized organization, that is the Order of Knight of Rizal Wellington chapter.
Right.
Actually, the first chapter is in Auckland. And with the proximity of Auckland, the ambassador cannot go there on a weekly basis. And he told me, "Oh, Mar, you organize the Wellington chapter." "Okay, sir." And then with that, after several weeks, and that's it. We applied for the establishment of the chapter. And with my experience with Kasagip Charitable Trust, I organized all the legal documentation of organizing this organization. Applied in the companies, New Zealand companies organization, and then applied for a charitable trust, because that is one of the requirement of the New Zealand. If you are a chapter or you are helping people, you should apply also for a charitable trust, so that you can take advantage with the programs of government in funding and giving you budget on a certain project.
That's
And with that,
right.
and that's it. So I'm maximizing all the the things that I have learned to you when we have in Kasagip, because
That's right.
it is very hard to formulate a program with budget, activities, etc., and then analysis, so that it will be easily approved
That's right.
for funding, and that's
Yeah.
it.
So,
With
Mar,
this,
I'm so impressed with the work that you've done. But who can join your Order of Knights of Rizal group? Is there a special qualification for people if they're interested to join the Auckland group and the Wellington group? Maybe somebody is listening or watching us right now who wants to join your group. Are you open to membership?
Yes, actually, membership of Knight of Rizal is through recommendation of the previous member or recommendation of community leaders. It is not just picking up people to do these things, etc. Because doing all the activities, projects, planning of the chapter, it is what you call this, bayanihan style. So in coordination or collaboration of everybody, think for such event or program, and that's it. So it is not regardless of ethnicity. Actually, we have recruiting people. Like for example, one friend of our ambassador, which is an Iranian security technocrat, who is taking his doctoral in Victoria Universities, is planning to join with us early this year, because with the COVID-19 pandemic, we stopped our recruitment due to social distancing and etc. But now we are in level 1. We can push through again. So regardless of ethnicity, it is we are welcoming all people in all walks of life, in a different discipline, whether you are in banking, you are managerial position, etc. And that's it. Because we have a lot of projects that can be have what you call it.
You have to spend your budget, Mar. You have to spend your money.
Yes.
You have to spend
Actually,
it.
we are actually maximizing our budget, depending on the budget. Like for example, right now, we are very thankful to New Zealand government through the Ministry of Social Development. They gave us a certain number of budget to help to alleviate our COVID-19 affected individual in our region. So with that, I really don't know if you saw my posting in my Facebook. I have completed almost 4 tranches of projects. So with the tranches of project, that is food distribution to COVID-19 affected individual, regardless again of ethnicity. Everybody in the community is are welcome to see us, to call us. We need these essential goods, and then that's it. We are there to help them. Actually, right now, our fourth and final tranche, we are giving it 30 bags, big bags of essential goods with the Aussies Church, and that church is managing all their what they call that their people who are from Samoa, PG, different ethnicity, and that's it. They are giving that. They will distribute that probably within this week.
Wow, exciting times, Mari. So it doesn't mean that if you're retired, you are not, active. You're very busy with your activities, and that's what one of the things that some people are probably wondering how they can maybe help in the community. So, guys, it's a good example. What Mar is telling us at the moment is you can start small. You can probably join. If not join as a member, you can probably ask around in your community saan kayo pwedeng tumulong, ano-ano mga proyekto sa paligid ang meron. For example, like Kasagip, if they have also something that's going on, look around you. Obviously, there are so many Filipino groups that you can ask around. And then you can build your networks there, Mar. With your experience in the community, you will meet a lot of people. Who knows, it could be linking you to a new job. It could be linking you to a volunteer role. And New Zealand, I love the culture about volunteering and helping out in the community. And you are a very good example of how you can include that in your daily life. And speaking of daily life, I know you're still very active in your pistol gun club. So you still have time. That's your me time. And obviously, you have your grandchildren to look after. So how are you finding the time to balance your gun club activities, looking after your mga apo, and doing all these projects for the Order of the Knights of Rizal Group?
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking on the subscribe button now. This podcast is possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Okay, as of the moment, I am semi-retired. So actually, I have enough time to look after with my family. That is almost 10%. You mean to say family first before something. So with my schedule and planning, Monday to Friday, it's for family. So no other commitment, but it is the family. So Monday to Friday. So with my grandchildren, my newly born grandson, and that's it. Anytime, always on the go. So if my son or my daughter told mommy, daddy, I will leave my daughter and son to you, etc. Okay, automatic. That is Monday to Friday. And I asked my wife, can you allow me Saturday or Sunday to do my extracurricular activities? Like for example, actually I have of 3 sports activities. One, golf, and then bowling, 10-pin bowling, and shooting. And my wife, just select one, and that's it. And I told her, that is my first and foremost sports activities, and that is the practical shooting activity, and that's it. So we have I do a lot of attending some national competitions, North Island, South Island, the all sanctioned competition of the Pistol New Zealand. And even if COVID is not present right now, we will be going to Australasia, and the Australasia is in Thailand. So, but because of that, it is cancelled. Hopefully, we are being selected to participate on that competition. So there are a lot of Filipinos here in New Zealand excel in pistol shooting, and that's why the New Zealander is really very generous and sometimes very helpful and friendly to Filipino shooters.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think they are intimidated because of the Filipino talent, but they're very gracious, and you're right, they're very gracious and generous. So in turn, as a migrant living in that country, you cannot help but be generous as well, and to offer yourself in everything that you do, because that's the way of life in New Zealand. So Mar, we're going towards the end of our program now. So what can you share to somebody who's listening who not sure about what New Zealand is, and if after COVID they decide they want to travel there as a visitor, or they want to also migrate, just like what you've done, and now hearing your good stories, what's your main advice to other people who want to be a New Zealand resident?
Yeah, to those individuals, especially young couples, it's better to go to this country, New Zealand, because I found it to be a family-based country, New Zealand, and we have any other country in the world that have a four season in a day. So
Yeah.
here in Wellington, in the morning it's sunny, and then in the afternoon it's raining, and sometimes in the evening it's snowy. So
Yeah.
and that's it. That's why there is a song four season in a day, and that is the Wellington City in New Zealand. Actually, I advise all, like for example, uh, like to pursue their career, further career here in New Zealand, especially in IT. They are very strong in IT and strong in also in farming. In the Philippines, when you are called, you are a farmer, you are poor. You
Yes.
belong to the low society. But here in New Zealand, though, if you are a farmer, you are a billionaire. So you own vast tract of land, you own cattle, you own sheep, you own something that you are managing. That's why cattle raising here in New Zealand is dairy farming. Is a very very lucrative industry. So if you are within that industry, you are welcome to go to New Zealand. Yeah.
Wow. So
And
farming
that's
is
it.
still the strength of New Zealand, Mar. And I'm missing New Zealand, to tell you honestly. I've been on my 7th year this year living in Australia. Life in Australia is very different, but it's still different when you go back home. And obviously, New Zealand is our home. Although our home country is the Philippines, but New
Okay.
Zealand is our adoptive home. And how I wish we could go back again and reminisce the good times that we have and visit you in Wellington. But Mar,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you for the time that you spent here at Samut Sari, and your words of wisdom. So I think if people want to get in touch with you, they probably have to contact me, and then I will contact you. I think that's the way to go. So thank you for your time, Mar. And for people who are watching us or listening to us, if you have any other topics you wish to feature in the show, plus just ask us about anything, please reach out via email to mimi@dinosocial.com. So Samut Sari is a member of the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. You can reach out to me via my Facebook page, through my Twitter account, and obviously through my YouTube channel. So Mar, maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Another very interesting, enlightening episode about your life in New Zealand, which makes other people really think that it's a blessed country. And true naman. And hopefully you can come back some other time. So thank you very much, Mar, for joining me in the show.
Okay, thank you, Mimi, and kamusta sa inyong lahat?
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Mar.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit our website at www.guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com, where you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. You can also join the conversation with Guerrillas RV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please consider on making a donation to help us keep making the podcast you love. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.